Hey, I've got a Canandaigua guy with me, Ryan Poles, Assistant Director of Player Personnel for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, trying to get another one. Thanks for doing this, Ryan.
Absolutely.
We're going to get to your career in a minute, but I want to know what this week has been like, because you went through it last year, going to Miami, the Super Bowl, the win and all that. What's it been like for the Chiefs staying at home, getting ready for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's been completely different. I've had that question come up a bunch, especially from family members. I honestly can't tell you there's a difference between the week before we play the Bills and the Super Bowl. It's business as usual. It's the same food at training table. The practice schedule is exactly the same, and we're flying out on Saturday. So Coach Reid's a creature of habit, and that's the way we've approached this game. And it's actually been really peaceful. There's been very limited distractions, and even media days all Zoom and video conference. So completely different feel for sure.
Yeah, I heard Bruce Arians talking, and he was saying it's an advantage to his team to be home. But since you guys get to be home too, right up to the game, It kind of balances out, doesn't it?
It does balance it out. And this year with, the way the crowds have been, it kind of goes for the Super Bowl too. It's more of a corporate event than anything. So I don't really think there is advantage for home or away, especially the way that this week's been scheduled.
Let's talk about your career and how you got there. Though you've been with the Chiefs for a long time. You left Canandaigua after a great career there. You go to BC. You're blocking for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
You get an opportunity with the Bears, and then it ends. If I remember, it ended. You were through the whole camp there and then got released. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. I took it all the way down to the wire. They cut down to 53, and I wasn't good enough to make it, which is a hard pill to swallow for sure. It's the first time I've really dealt with failure of not getting a job and making it. And I took the time to figure out what I wanted to do. I went back to Boston College for a short period of time, got into recruiting, really learned how to work in the office, which is important. And from there, I got the opportunity to come down here and be a scouting assistant and just work my way up from there.
The way it ended for you, and basically your playing career ends.
Yep.
In the position you're in now, and even bigger positions for you, looks like would be in the future. Will that impact the way you deal with players, or has it already impacted him, knowing how important playing is to guys in those moments when maybe it has to end?
Yeah, I'll tell you the number one thing where it hits home for me, and it's small, but I take it serious, is releasing players. It's the hardest thing. I know everyone talks about when we do the post-camp 53-man cutdown. I mean, we got to fire a lot of people, and I've been through that. So I'm very sensitive about that time, letting guys know that they're not making the team. And I communicate the right way, and I'm open and honest with them. And that's not the case for everybody and how they operate. So just going through that process has been good. I know the anxiety of trying to make a team. So having guys pulled into my office and just have them just communicate. How do you feel? What's going on? What are you thinking? And telling them there's no difference than when you played in college. Yes, the level has gone up, but go play football and stop thinking so much. Dig into your playbook and just go play football. So I think that experience has been very important and critical for my job and what I do.
For your job and what you do. So let everybody know what your job entails, especially the one you're in now. What's your day-to-day, month-to-month? Like, what is the main focus of your job?
Yeah, I'd say the main focus, to kind of boil it down, is to assist our general manager and Coach Reid in building and maintaining our roster. A lot of my heavy lifting is done through the draft. So I oversee all of our scouts that live all across the country, make sure the information is coming in. Do we know the player, their background, what they're about? Do they love football, their intelligence? And then I'm able to get that information and hand it over to our general manager and our head coach, that we make really good decisions and try to bring in the best players for our system as possible.
There was a trade, obviously a pretty impactful one for both the Bills and the Chiefs a few years ago, when it leads to Patrick Mahomes. I think he's unquestioned the number one quarterback in the NFL right now. Spectacular player for you guys. But could an argument be made that the result of that trade, while everybody would love to have Mahomes, might have worked out for both teams as well as almost any trade in history? Not giving up Mahomes, but all the players the Bills got, and now they've become at least a challenger to the Chiefs.
Absolutely. I don't think you're wrong at all. And, no one really talks about Tre'Davious White was a great pick. Yes, the quarterback thing stings a little bit, but at the end of the day, they got it right. And we were the two teams standing in the AFC this year. So I think it's worked out well for both teams. I love our guy. I'm glad we did what we did, obviously. But you guys have got to be happy in upstate New York. I mean, Brandon has done a great job. Good friends with Joe Shane there too. They've built it the right way. Sure, there's probably a little bit of difference in the quarterbacks, but they built it the right way. They've done a good job, and I think for the future, it's going to be our two teams going head to head, trying to get to the Super Bowls every year.
Have you talked to Mahomes about trying to play as long as Brady?
No, I hope he does.
Wouldn't that be something? In terms of your job going forward, a lot of reports, that you had an opportunity to interview with Carolina, kind of interesting, where Brandon Beane came from to the Bills as a general manager. What was that experience like, and what do you think that experience will do for you going forward, trying to get to that next level?
Yeah, that whole process might have been one of the bigger events in my life, and especially as a personnel man. Once you finally put your philosophy and how you want to run a front office, how you want to build a team, what type of coaching you like, the type of players that you look for, and you put that on paper and you spend weeks and weeks and weeks doing that, then you present it in a good way to ownership and another head coach. You gain confidence in yourself on how to do it. But you also have a different perspective on your own team and how you want to move forward in your own career, and how you look at your roster and what you want to do next. And someone gave me great advice too after this, is make sure you know every situation that comes up moving forward and how would you deal with it, and then how the Chiefs do. Because at the end of the day, I don't make the decisions here, but I give my opinions. But write down what you would do in those situations and build off of that, so you're getting repetition as a lead man in the front office. So that experience has been great. It's given me a ton of confidence, and I look forward to whatever happens in the future.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned you work with Andy Reid and Brett Veach, those guys. You were there before them in Kansas City, right? And then they came in. What's the experience like building yourself up, moving up in an organization that has always had pretty good success, and then watching these two guys come in and take you guys to the next level, but you rising up with the whole organization?
Yeah, as you grow, your voice becomes heard a little bit more, and you go from the guy that's just collecting data and submitting it to the person that's organizing and leading and helping make decisions and big decisions on where your roster is going to go next. So that process has been great. Andy Reid is one of the best leaders, if not the best leader I've been a part of. You ask about this week, I can tell you even last year through the season, that guy is steady. He's the same guy every single day, every week, no matter if we have injuries, no matter if we lose a game. He's the same guy, and everyone feeds off of that. There's no panic. There's never panic. There's confidence. We just go to work every day, every week, and the results have been great.
Yeah, we hear a lot about Andy from Sean McDermott. There's many times during the year when he just talks about his respect for him and the things that he learned from him. You work right with Brett Veach, a guy who, because Andy is such a known commodity for fans around the league, I don't think your general manager outside of the NFL people maybe gets the credit for what your team has done that maybe he should. What are the specific things you've learned from a guy like Brett that you'll take to your next job?
Anticipation by far, looking down the road and talking about the things that could happen. What's our plan A, B, and C, and D, and moving accordingly. So just thinking ahead and anticipating moves that are on the horizon has been probably number one. His aggression, there's pros and cons of being aggressive in the front office, but it's all about timing and where your roster is and what you're going for. And right now we're in that window, and to see the aggressive mindset to get things done, sign our own guys back, free agency, it has been really good. So I don't know if you can the Bills just did it, with Diggs. there's a time where you got to pull the trigger and go get that guy, and it may not be popular, but you know what's best for your team. So that's Veach's mindset has really rubbed off on me. And you're exactly right. You know, I probably got Coach Reid in the right window, but he's really taken a step back from the personnel side. We are so close in the front office. He lets us do the work. We get the information down to what decisions we want to make, and we run it by him, and he gives the green light, and we're good. So he really isn't involved with the day-to-day and even the draft process as much as people may think.
When you were playing, did it come into your mind to ever be in a position like this? Did you ever think of coaching? Were you just focused on playing? Like, when did it come to the point where you pretty quickly transitioned to this, and now here you are in a position maybe someday to be a general manager of an NFL team?
Yeah, it's interesting. After I got cut, I haven't told many people this. After I got cut from Chicago, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I went to Vermont with my girlfriend and my wife at the time, and we lived up there. And I was this close to taking a marketing job before a friend called and said, "Hey, there's a graduate assistant job at BC. Do you want to jump in that?" And I said, yes. So I jumped in that. I met a bunch of scouts. I was like, this is exactly what I want to do, and hit the ground, and I'm here today. So it was close for me not being where I am, which is interesting.
I'll close it out by asking you this. You have a Super Bowl ring. You're in line. You got a shot to get another one. Yep. Where is it, and do you ever wear it?
I don't wear it. It's way too big and gaudy. Special occasions, I guess. But it's in a box in a safe in my house. And I pull it out to show people, but yeah, you don't bring it out much, but it's she's beautiful, and I hope to get another one.
That